Story 420. Non-French people telling me how to eat French food. I don't know if this counts as petty revenge, but here goes. Currently in Paris with my partner and staying here for a month. My in-laws, they're French, this will be relevant, have an apartment in the city so we can stay for as long as we want. My partner was nearby taking a phone call, so I went to a very touristy and popular cafe nearby to try their famous chocolate chaude and see what the hype is about. And croissant so I could dip it in the hot chocolate, a very popular breakfast for the French. As my order arrived, a family of 4, parents, 2 daughters, sat at the table next to me. I was tearing off a small piece of the croissant when the mom cleared her throat and said to me, hon, it's usually eaten with a fork and knife so your fingers don't get greasy. I turned and see all of their disapproving faces, silently judging me for being so uncultured. Oh, sorry. And picked up my fork and knife. I could see my partner walking towards me having finished his phone call, and I slowly cut my croissant with the knife and fork. My partner saw me and burst out laughing. He was like, "What are you doing?" So I turned innocently at the family and said, "Well, they told me I have to eat it with a knife and fork so I won't look uncultured." Partner turned to them and said in a very exaggerated French accent, "Madam, are you French?" They all shook their heads, no. He continued, "We only eat croissants with our hands. No French will tell you otherwise. Please don't spread this nonsense if you are not French." They all ate their croissants with their hands, and my partner looking over them like a proud teacher. LOL. Edit. To those saying I'm spineless. I am more than capable of defending and handling things like this myself. I chose not to. I chose to say sorry and stall and let them think they were right. Why? Who better to tell them how to eat a French pastry in France than a French? It's so much pettier.
S'il vous plaît.
Guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, just take a second now and click that subscribe button. It does help support me a lot, and I really appreciate it. Story 2. AITA for not supporting my girlfriend financially? For context, I, 24M, have been in a relationship with my first girlfriend, 29F, for about a month now. I know her roughly since the middle of April, and she struggles financially as she is currently without a job to take care of her mental health, while I just finished my master's degree last year and now have a job at a big firm that pays very well for my age. She told me today that she has no money left for the rest of the months and asked me to lend her money so that she can buy groceries and really has no options left. I know that she tends to spend money on stuff she wants instead of stuff she needs, like clothing or cosmetics over food, as she both showed me that since we knew each other and seemed to not take advice on that matter, so I felt uncomfortable just giving her money. So we agreed on a compromise. She suggested that we go shopping together and I just pay for the groceries. A few hours later she calls me and says that she talked with her friends about the situation and is now pissed at me that I treat her like a child who can't take care of herself, real quote. And she also thinks I am an asshole because I forced that on her and says I make her feel bad because I'm going on vacation soon. I worked a lot of overtime the last few months and wanted to relax. I also booked the vacation before I knew how much she is struggling currently. She also tells me I don't understand how she feels and says that I don't know the real world as I still live with my mother. I know that, and she knows I am actively searching for my own place to rent right now. So I want to know, am I the asshole in this situation? Edit. I have now mentally broken up with her, accepted that it is the better choice to break up. I don't know if she wants me to call her or if everything is said from her perspective, but I will definitely not call her to ask what's wrong or something. Edit 2. We broke up. Now to the comments. Eleanard. NTA. It sounds like you came up with a solution that would make you feel more comfortable and still meet her needs. She just doesn't like it because, as you stated, she probably wants to spend the money elsewhere. King_of_Argus OP. The funny thing about that is that the original idea for the solution came from her a few hours before she changed her mind. I just agreed to it. Guys, take a second and hit that notification bell, it will help me a lot. Story 3. Malicious compliance. Another manager won't believe their worker could be sick. This happened almost a year ago. I don't work there anymore, so now I feel safe posting. I used to earn some pocket money as a tutor working with K-12 kids in an after-school program. Last fall I got the flu. Coughing, hacking, sneezing, fever. I was definitely sick and definitely contagious. The problem was I had also developed laryngitis, meaning I couldn't call off work as I couldn't speak. I texted and emailed my boss at 9 a.m. to let them know. Shift started at 4 p.m. 4 hours later, 1 p.m., they replied. Sorry. We can't find someone to take over for you. Guess you'll have to come in. I sat there panicking because I didn't want to A, get the kids sick and B, make myself worse by working with kids. I begged them to reconsider. No dice. I texted coworkers seeing if someone could trade shifts. No luck. Then I remembered an interesting policy. Tutors were required to be there 20 minutes before their first student arrived so they could get the area ready with needed materials, read over notes from previous sessions, set up their table with school supplies, etc. I also remembered I was the first person scheduled, meaning that, when I got there, I would be the only person there besides administration. I purposely didn't take any medicine for the rest of the day. My symptoms went from annoying to bad. I was hacking. My eyes looked glassy. I was extremely pale. Whole shebang. I then put on 3 N95 masks, changed my clothes, and put on 2 layers of surgical gloves. No reason to get the kids sick, although they were probably the ones to give it to me in the first place. Then I walked into the admin's office sounding like I had the plague. A perfectly timed sneeze and coughing fit hit me just as I approached the open door. Her office was quite long, so I never got within 10 feet of her. Still, she looked panicked as I croaked. Well, I'm here. Amazingly, she found a way to take over my students that day. I was in the building for less than 5 minutes. Edit, caught a typo. Subscribe for daily Reddit stories. Story 4. Petty revenge. Friend tried to steal from my hobby shop. I took his hobby. I used to own a hobby shop that dealt in games and comics. One of my regular customers was a middle-aged family guy named John. There's a particular collectible card game that was pretty much his only hobby. I was the only place in town running events for it, and the community grew really fast for the game. It was some of my funniest years with the shop. John was at every event. One day, he came in to buy things, and tried to pass off a fake gift certificate with a large number on it. I was stunned that he would try this. He has one of his little daughters with him, even. He made the copy at home. This was at a time I wasn't using the striped, swappable gift cards, and I immediately knew it was fake. I quietly told him I knew it wasn't real, and that he needed to leave. Then after stewing on it for a few days, I reached out and told him he wasn't welcome back. He apologized and I never saw or heard from him again. I didn't tell our mutual friends, but he told them what he did. The community for the game grew so big that I had to expand to another tournament day. Between work and family time, John only had one day of the week he could game, and I knew a few of the players were going to his house to play. So I announced the new tournament day, which was his only free day, and everyone started coming to the shop instead of his house every week. Years later, I heard he got tired of buying new product and rarely being able to play, so he tried to offload his collection, but the game was dying at that point and a lot of the cards basically worthless. Edit, yeah, forgot to mention that we knew each other for years, before I even opened the shop. Friends with his wife and family, even. Friendship died at that moment. Subscribe for daily Reddit stories.